Welcome to the Carl and Barbara Segerstrom Preserve here at Squam Creek on Westport Island. My name is Dennis Dunbar from the Kennebec Estuary Land Trust. I'm on the board of directors. I hope you enjoy getting a brief tour of the 160-acre preserve on Squam Creek. We are delighted to be able to offer two kinds of treks here on this preserve. One, of course, is the traditional preserve, viewing the nature, the flora, the fauna, the habitat. And you can enjoy on easy trails the upland walk through the mixed growth forest land, down to the creek, and along the very rich wetland complex that makes up Squam Creek. The other thing that's wonderful about this preserve is it's a ramble around history. It's a history tour of the initial settlement of Jeremy Squam Island. This was the site, many believe, to have been where the first permanent settlers of Westport Island came and established their homes and raised their families. This is one of the best made cellar holes that you'll see. You can see that these granite blocks were precisely put together by a very skilled crew, all of which had virtually no experience in building homes, as most settlers did. They just learned as they went. We basically just leave stuff the way it is, so that the sense of discovery that any visitor would have is preserved. We're in the Hodgson family cemetery, so the generations of Hodgtons that lived in the home we were just visiting would have been buried here. There were probably 6 generations, or I know of 6 generations, of Dunton families that lived on the property we were just on. In addition, 5 generations of Hodgson family members lived here. So we just finished a loop around these old cellar holes, and now we're back to Squam Creek and walking along the creek. The creek was very valuable to the early settlers because the creek was rich with salt hay, which became the feed of choice for their animals during the winter months. This was a favorite place for the native Abnaki people to come, and they would fish for shellfish. They would fish for clams, oysters. The creek has been blocked somewhat by a causeway and a culvert, and the water is largely fresh. And it has just the right mix of brackishness to be good habitat for oysters. So we have 2 oyster farms operating in the creek. Well, I hope you enjoyed this brief tour of the preserve at Squam Creek. We covered a lot of territory. We started here. We explored the James Dunton cellar hole, the Stephen Dunton home that's being disassembled, the Elijah Jane farm loop and her cellar hole, where Joseph Dunton settled, which we call the Loretta Hodgson home site. We went along the Squam Creek and we worked our way back along Jeremy's ramble to the Dunton Cemetery, back to where we started. So I really appreciate having the opportunity to introduce you to this new preserve and hope you enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed presenting it to you.